Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast, where it took 4 days for a Golden Retriever puppy to make me soft. That's not Kai. He's sick. I'm being abused by a Golden Retriever. This is the longest I've been in my office since we got our Golden Retriever puppy. I will throw pictures on the screen now. I would have grabbed her, but she is sleeping downstairs. It is currently 8 a.m. on Wednesday. This podcast comes out at 6 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. It has been an adjustment. I look tired. I think you can see that. And I might be sick, unrelated to the puppy, but maybe because of it, because Kai is also sick from Dallas. And Kai basically spent all weekend around me. At least I should say from Thursday to Friday, because he was set up next to me. It's entirely possible that he got sick following me departing Dallas on Friday night. But hopefully he feels better for next week. We'll get his perspective on the show. I want to hear what he thinks. But yeah, it's been the fact that this is a week later, almost essentially from when I left for Dallas, and kind of like how life has shifted since. Absolutely hilarious and amazing. Go figure. I won't talk about the dog too much. At least, when I could have her sitting in the little beanbag chair behind me when she's a little bit older, or like my wife's around, or if I can record on a normal schedule timing with Kai and I could grab her, bring her up, show her, and bring her back. Well, my wife handle her fine, but we'll save that for another week or two. Dude, it's so funny. I have completely. I'm a pushover now. Man, I love this fucking dog so much. It's I'll do this part and then I'll touch on Dallas and other things. It's so funny to have reached the fully actualized state of what you've ever wanted. It is. This is what I've always wanted. Married, have a house now, have a dog. Those are the three things that I wanted. Now, obviously, there's other things that will probably happen. Let's be honest. Casey wants kids. I'm whatever on it. Have you met me? Come on. Like, you want more of this around? At least one person does, but like, you sure? Are you sure about that? It's very weird to have the things you've wanted and dreamed of, and that is a weird conclusion to come across, because I didn't think I would get there. I didn't. I had no idea it was possible. I am someone who obviously, as most people who are Gen Z, I'm born in 1996. I'm like the last millennial or the first Gen Z. I think the definition has changed slightly. When does Gen Z start? 1 second. Gen Z starts the late 90s, so 96, 95. As most of that generation has, hey, mental health is super freaking important. Yeah, I dealt with shit. Everyone does. I was in therapy for 5 years. I beat therapy. How? Are you sure about that? If anything, it made me funnier. And they didn't fix me. They just made me better at being bad. No, I'm kidding. Somewhat. No. As someone who dealt with their own bullshit for quite a while, to have come out on the other side, and since get married, get a house, now have a puppy, I would have loved to be able to tell younger David those things were going to happen and would be okay. Oh God. Wow. That got to me. Jesus Christ. I have gotten soft I don't like this anymore. What is happening? But I would tell him that things would get better. You know? Wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was not. This is a sports card podcast, dude. Get back in there. I'm off my game. I have not looked at any mail or any of the pickups from Dallas since I got home. To talk about that show, I flew in Wednesday and I left Friday night. So I kind of knew we were getting this dog. It was going to be an abbreviated show, which is perfectly fine. In fact, I had even considered canceling, not because I didn't. Well, I actually didn't want to go. I even think I said that on the podcast. It had been harder to leave going to shows because I was like, "Oh, my wife and I'm happy," but I was not convinced, but I was convinced to go to the show, and I'm happy I did. For what you would expect for a 2-day, a little abbreviated showing, where you did not. Actually, you know what? I lied. I prepped pretty well for Dallas. I have a show this weekend here in New Jersey. At least that's super local, which is quite nice, honestly. For being prepped for Dallas, knowing I had a short timeline, I gotta give it a B plus A minus. It was a very electric crowd, especially on the Thursday, which you would think NFL season coming back could have been kind of a weird draw. Was a lot of dealer to dealer interactions on that Thursday. Friday was super busy. I don't believe my Zion case is pretty full at the moment. Let's quickly check. It's about 40% full, and there's stuff on the desk to process, which I will get to. This is stuff that had come in the mail since coming home. Have not touched it yet. Seeing that Sophie, oh, that's our Gold Archer's name, by the way, Sophie, which I love that dog. Seeing the stuff I have to process still, having a couple pickups from Dallas, I had not intended to buy. Knowing that this was most likely going to happen, I would be out of commission, quote unquote, for a couple days or a week or two. Have now started to kind of reboot that process. It's funny because from Friday or even Saturday when we picked up the dog to now, which is Wednesday morning, that's not that much time in a vacuum, or in real life anyway, I should say. But it has felt so much longer since, because of the dog and obviously the lack of sports cards in my world. And that's fine. It happens. People get distracted with babies, dogs, kids, school, whatever else. And I think it's important to understand that and have those not reset periods, but like understanding that you can reset. But if you're going to, my opinion is to be prepared, because assets will fall most likely. Now you might have Daniel Jones stuff that all of a sudden spiked because he had one good game, and I don't really get it if he spiked. I've not checked his prices at all. I'm sure they're up, obviously, but I just don't. As a Giants fan, I could tell you he's most likely going to come out now on Sunday. I don't know who's playing. The Colts are against. Who are you playing? The Broncos? Oh, yeah, that's a bad one. I mean, it is at home, but Surtain is going to lock down, I guess, Pippen. Maybe Jeter Downs. No, Jeter Downs is the right one? Am I thinking of someone else? Is that the correct guy? Jeter Downs is the baseball player. Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? This is what happens when you don't get a lot of sleep. I have to check the NFL roster. 1 second. Josh Downs. Okay, I knew I was right there, but I wasn't there. Okay, that's quite funny. Yeah, Sertan's gonna lock down Pippen, Josh Downs. He's not gonna be on Tyler Warren, I don't imagine. So I'm just saying, don't be shocked if Jones has a pretty bad game against the Broncos D. I don't think that's a shocking take out there. So take your victory lap while you can. I would sell while you can. I don't believe this is another Sam Darnold situation where Jones is now a quote unquote franchise guy and is a long term success or long term future on an NFL roster as a starting QB. As a backup, you really can't do much better. Jones can play, but when the expectations are the guy, as a Giants fan, I can tell you, he's not the guy. If he is your backup QB for 2, 3, 4 games, you feel pretty good. Like, I don't think Jones is a top 25 QB in the NFL. Maybe he is 25. I don't know. It's hard to put that list together at this moment. But I will say, if that's what Daniel Jones is doing with this Colts team, and they really did not make too many additions on the offensive side other than Tyler Warren, who I don't recall how he actually played his first game. I'm just quickly going to check. What I'm trying to make is, if he's playing that well, what does that say about Anthony Richardson? So, to be fair, actually, Tyler Warren had 7 catches for 76 yards. I don't think Anthony Richardson is getting him the ball like that, which is crazy. If Jones plays that well, AR is... you bought AR cards. I'm sorry, man. If you held them, and, like, he obviously might be... He is another Mac Jones type, another Zach Wilson type, another failed QB type, Trey Lance, quote unquote. Now, I think at this point in time, or in the very near future, hilariously, if you are going to put in a low risk asset in the sports card world, I do not think Anthony Richardson is good. But I know how stupid sports card people think. He will be on a second team at some point in time. Anthony Richardson is someone who oozes potential. And as much as I don't like a Justin Fields type, you just saw week 1 he played very well. And he had not a ton of promise after, the Bears. And the Bears had him for 3 years. Anthony Richardson will play more in the NFL. I can't tell you when his final stop will be, but I will guarantee anything. He has a second stop. Now, I don't know what his market would truly be from a real world perspective and getting traded. According to Spot Rack, he has 1 more year. I'll just share my screen. This is easier because we're talking about it. Like, he has 1 more year at $1 million with a club option, which would be, that would be $30 million, $40 million. I'm not sure what that would look like in a couple years. But even now in the NFL, with the potential, which is what you need in a QB, especially in real life, and even more so in sports cards, I am not selling on Anthony Richardson being good. I think he's a dog shit QB. But even now, I'm convincing myself to go start and buy a couple of these because his prices are incredibly low. If you put $1,000 into it, you put $500 into it, something you could go to zero, something you don't care about, which I will probably start doing now, frankly. He's going to get a second chance in a different location. And what do sports cards like? Those weird project players who are not that good. Justin Fields, who had 1 good game, but whatever, but like multiple years of not playing super well. Trey Lance still has a market. I do think Anthony Richardson might be better than Trey Lance. At a minimum, he has a longer shelf life now than Trey Lance does. I think Trey Lance might be on his final team, frankly, if he does not play. Maybe you give him one more chance somewhere else, but like, he's not going to be the Chargers QB unless Herbert gets hurt. And if he looks bad when Herbert gets hurt, if he ever gets hurt, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, you have to fulfill that potential. So, I think in the real world, he still probably goes for like a conditional 3rd round pick, maybe 4th, but like, you give up an asset, a lottery ticket, essentially. 3rd round, 4th round pick is still a good asset, don't get me wrong, but like, that is something where if you're an NFL team and you theoretically got him for a year and a half, let's say, if Jones is the guy, Jones plays well and whatever else, and like, AR is done there, you have him for $1 million in 2026, and then the potential on a 5th-year option. NFL teams will take that chance either because they're desperate, they want to keep their jobs, or it fits into their schedule, their timeline, their potential to be like, hey, maybe we don't like these QBs in 2026 or 2027, but like, we got a high scouting grade on this one. Let's try and see if we get him into our system and see what happens. That is a consideration that I would make, and I am making as I'm talking about it. And I own none of AR. He sucks. He's not good. I did not ever think he was a talented NFL QB, but he will have the potential to be a potential starting QB again, at least minimum in camp and in contention for one on another team somewhere. I can't tell you where, I can't tell you when, but logically speaking, it'll happen probably in the next 30 to 65 days. Like, $1 million contract is pretty tempting for a team, and if you can get him for the right price, now that's up to the Colts if they want to take that, loss. If Jones is the guy, which it's entirely possible that Daniel Jones is bad, and Week 7 comes around, if not sooner, and Anthony Richardson's playing QB again, the Colts are 2-4, 3-5. They say, F it, we'll go back to AR and see if he's better now. And it doesn't matter, it's a moot point then. But if he continues to not be the QB and he's the backup, you will likely see, them moving on from him. Yeah, that's just my thoughts there. So we talked Dallas, we talked Dog, we talked AR. I don't have a ton in terms of like sports card thoughts at this moment in time. I'm quite tired. You would be surprised. No, you wouldn't, obviously. But what I will say is, now the football season is back, people are going to start to drop in price. Yes, there will be there will be significant rises. Words are hard right now. There will be very big jumps for players who were not expected to do much, who pop off week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and you sell. There'll be plenty of players who had high expectations who either do not meet them, or in a world where Jaden Daniels is mid, and this is coming from someone who just bought a couple Jaden Daniels cards last night and owns a couple. If Jaden Daniels just stays at the level of play he was at, which is a high level play for a rookie, it'll go down. He needs to somehow get better, which is not impossible. Jaden Daniels is a franchise QB and is going to be a true, like, MVP contender on the bottom, on the cusp of it, like a top 5 to 10 QB if he's not already there in some opinions, which is fine. But like, you know what I mean? Like, one of those guys where it's like, oh yeah, I can rely on Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, etc. Like, that's small, like, core group. Like, all right, if any of those guys win MVP in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I'm not shocked by that conversation. Jaden will get there if he's not already there, in your opinion, because he finished 7th in MVP last year. So that actually would theoretically be a step forward for him. If he just maintains that level of play, I still think his prices go down, which is crazy, right? And if he somehow does worse, which is entirely possible, second-year QBs do tend to drop in play, not even because like they're not good, but because like NFL schemes get them a little bit more, you could be in trouble. And that's something that people will time and time again fall into. And that's scary. You gotta realize, like, hey, do you want to be selling one step early than 2 steps too late? And it's ironic because it's the Sold Too Early podcast. Could Jane Daniels go off for 50 touchdowns this year? No, probably not. Did he go off for 35 and 4,000 passing yards? Yes. But like, what if he got hurt? What if he was just mid compared to the standard he already set for himself? Because there is going to be regression at some point in time. Not because he's not good, but because teams will figure out how to play him better. And then that third, fourth, fifth year, when they truly figure out how to read NFL defense, or the coaching staff, highlights their strengths and takes away their weaknesses, then you see that true rise in their talent. But people don't care about that. They care like, all right, I gotta, hey, that's us production. Go figure, it happens. It's just something to keep in mind. That's how I kind of view it. But with football season here, we are going to see that drop in prices for a lot of players. God forbid someone gets hurt. Brock Bowers had an injury scare. He's now day-to-day. Also just bought a nice card of him. Why? Because I know now that these in-season prices for those guys, still a decent move if you can do it somewhat quickly. They're still quality players. And they sell. And because repackers need them, or someone wants to get them on a good value play. I didn't pay off-season peak prices. I paid September. Hey, we're in the season. Like, let's go. Like, coming down a little bit. Then you pay percentage of that. So therefore, you have a little grace period where, yeah, they could be also still a rise because they're now playing. Of course, they go off and do something well or whatever else. But I've given myself a little bit of a gap now to realize, hey, I still have time here, week 2, week 3, week 4, where because of the margin I paid, I have the potential for it to still go either up or even level. And if it stays level, I make money. If he goes hot for some reason, make a lot of money. If he trends down, you're probably still going to break even on some stuff, or also making money on other things. And that's kind of how my brain works. That's why you buy in lots and not, a $50,000 card of someone. You buy like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $500, whatever feels like correct for that point in time. And you also never know. Someone might just go on eBay and buy it out for higher than the last comp, because a comp is a guide. It's not the rule. And people do things sometimes for illogical reasons. Moving through, as mentioned, there is a show in New Jersey I will be set up at this weekend. If you could not already tell, I am a little over the place, and I probably will be at this show as well. It is the New Jersey Sports Card Convention. Let me get this on the screen for everyone. I feel like I'm in a work meeting. Thank God I only have one today at 4 p.m. because I would be terrible talking to clients right now. Can you hear it in my voice? Oh, God. Yeah, it's on Friday and Saturday. Oh, God, why? That way. Friday and Saturday here in New Jersey at the iPlay in Freehold from 2 to 9 and 9 to 5. I will be there. At some point on Friday, I will have to coordinate and figure that out. Probably closer to like 4, let's be honest, because the show's not going to be packed at 2 or 3 because work. And then Saturday I'll be there 9. That's a pretty easy trip for me. I think it's a fine show. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've done it since it opened. It is the closest card show to me, which is quite nice. New Jersey does have a lot of shows. In the fact of like, I wonder if I could even check it right now, because New Jersey truly does have a ton of card shows. So you have on Friday 2 shows. Okay, fine. Saturday 2, Sunday 3. So there actually is not as many as usual. Tuesday there's a show. What? Friday is Old Bridge. Oh, I gotta sign up for that. Fuck, I didn't do that yet. I gotta text them. Saturday, next Saturday in New Jersey on the 20th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows. Sunday, 4. Tuesday, another. Why is there a Tuesday show? Friday, 2 shows. Oh. No, I can't do that. I don't think I can do that now with a dog. Saturday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. 6. Sunday, there's 1. I mean, NFL season, I guess, go figure. You're not going to do that. Wednesday show. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of shows for New Jersey. And a lot of these are pretty close to one another. I would say, well, how do I put this correctly? Because, like, some people are, 45-minute drive is nothing. I drive 6 hours for a card show. By the way, if you come, there are some people who travel to the Old Bridge Card Show, the R Cards and Collectibles Show, which I love. Speedy Card Lister sponsored that show, by the way. There are people who travel to that show on a Friday from, like, Pennsylvania and New York, and I'm like, it's a 40-table show in New Jersey on a Friday. What the fuck? What is my life? And that's awesome. Steven and his dad have done an amazing job over 4 years. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just asking. Why are you here from 3 hours away? Did you work today? I have several questions. I just need to make sure you're okay. You know what I mean? No, but I do expect people from PA and New York to, like, come to this show, the iPlay one, Friday, Saturday, because, like, larger, maybe 150 tables, which for New Jersey size, like, these are, for reference, everything I just showed on the screen was like a 40 to 50 table show. Those are relatively small, which is nice. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll do that. Try to do Old Bridge. I have to text the showrunner, which I've not done. They'll get me in. They will get me a table. Just gotta figure that out. And then I will do Dallas in November. And that's probably my show year. I've gone soft, dude. Ayo, that's not what I meant by that. Shut up. No, I've Is this what having a baby is like, dude? My God, people do this by choice for a human. At least a dog is cute and little and stays relatively cute and little for a while. And then she's going to be like 60 pounds and, like, attacking that beanbag chair behind me. That's really why I got it. Let's be honest. I knew I was getting a dog at some point. That fucking beanbag chair, dude, that's going to be her home when she comes upstairs. She's not been upstairs yet, by the way. This is my office on the 2nd floor. All right. I've talked enough. I'm beat. I have to go start work. This is a weird episode. Thank you for watching and listening. Next week, probably some better structure, probably some better sleep for me. Hopefully Kai feels better too. I'll see you guys then with a more structured episode. This is one of those where it's like,